The 49ers season has come to an end after they got destroyed by the Seattle Seahawks in the divisional round. It's your boy Wayne Breezie. We're going to break down the game and talk about the future of the 49ers. Stick around, smash that like button, faithful. And don't forget, join that Breezy Bunch crew. Let's go. What's going on, faithful? It's your boy Wayne Breezy, and we are back in the building for another live Wayne Breezy show where we talk about the San Francisco 49ers and how it looks for the 49ers moving forward. Man, what a beatdown we took, man. I mean, we got knocked the out, like we got beat really bad. And I'm gonna be honest. I didn't if I expected us to lose, I didn't expect to get our butts whipped like that. I'm not going to lie. We got our butts handed to us in every way, shape, or form, but we're not going to dwell over that, man. Congratulations to the winners of the divisional round week, and we got the championship week coming up this week with the Patriots versus the Denver Broncos with no quarterback, and then you got, no one's probably going to watch the NFC. This may be the lowest rated NFC championship game of all time, because the majority of the NFL football fan base is 49ers, right? And we hate both of these franchises. It's the Seahawks versus the Rams, and I know none of us are picking one of those teams to win, so we're hoping both of them lose somehow. You know, I don't know how Chicago lost that game, but they lost it, and the Rams, they found a way to win. So it is what it is. But, faithful, we are out. We have been knocked out, and we're going to talk about it right here on the Wayne Breezy Show. Salute and shout out to all the members of the Breezy Bunch crew. I got my air horns ready for you. We're going to do the shout outs early on the show. Give me a second. Let's get through a couple of the formalities, guys. If this is your first time here, make sure you like. All right. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's most important, right? Subscribe to the channel. Got plenty of NFL 49ers content in the offseason that I'm brewing. I'm also going to be starting a Breezy This, Breezy That show, which is going to be not necessarily covering sports, but more of the trending topics that's going on out here. So stick around. That's going to be right here on this channel. I'm not creating a new channel, not creating a new niche. It's Wayne Breezy. So we're going to bring you another Breezy show. It's just going to be trending topics. I'll have special guests on that show as well. So that'll be coming this offseason. We got the NFL Senior Bowl coming up, the All-Star games, got the Combine. Football doesn't end. So just make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. You're not going to want to miss out on it. Make sure you hit that like button. Also, feel free if you want to support the channel throughout the season. Go ahead and become a member of the Breezy Bunch crew. 99 cents, $5, or $4.99, or $9.99 are the three options. You know, and you can take advantage of all the cool perks that we got going out there. Make sure you like, follow on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook. Shout out to my Facebook community. That's growing rapidly. Everybody on Facebook, man. Finally, Facebook is showing your boy Breezy some love. So shout out to the Facebook crew as well. And I'm going to be bringing Breezy Eats back. So get ready. I got some stuff that I've been recording. Can't wait to start uploading that stuff now that the season is over. So lot of content that's going to be going on. I was going to create a new channel for everything, and I'm like, no, this is my channel that what I do. So make sure you do that. Also, don't forget, on the Patreon will be the exclusive draft coverage videos, breakdowns, all that stuff. So that's going to be exclusive only on the Patreon. Go to patreon.com /the Wayne Breezy. I'm going to start my data stuff this week because once I get to the Combine, I just want to be able to enter. The special mock draft shows will be on there as well. All right, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the Patreon. That's important right there. You can see the link. All right, and don't forget to take advantage of our partners over at residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy, and you can save on your total purchase. So that's important, man. Use that promo code, man. Save money when you can save money, right? Like, it don't make sense to spend full money when you ain't got to. All right, now that those formalities are out the way, how are you doing, faithful? How are you doing, faithful? Shout out to my boy, Don't Bother Me in the building. What's going on, man? With the hashtag BB. Jerome in the house. What it do, Niner family? What a season. Kept kicking ass while being beat up. But it's time to replace the OGs. Oh, man. This is why I like my bro right here, right? Because I swear, I haven't talked to him, but I was having this conversation. And I was like, yo, like the OGs, the team's going to look different next year. We already know. That's good. A lot of youth. There's a big youth movement this year. They had several draft picks. They didn't sign like expensive free agents. It's going to look different. So got to replace some of these OGs after the playoff thrashing. We were beat up like a burnt out porn star with ED. I got to laugh at that one. That's funny. That's going to get an applause. Like, yeah. Oh, and bring back Mike McDaniels. Interesting, because Clay Kubiak has interviewed with the Raiders. So if Kubiak goes to the Raiders, should the 49ers bring back Mike McDaniel as the OC? It's a hell yeah for me. It's a rock hell yeah too, or a Stone Cold Steve Austin hell yeah. JP Hellahard 2800, love you to life, faithful family. Wayne, you are appreciated. Thank you for all you do, King. Shout out to you, man. Listen, we're going to talk more. I've been going through a lot of stuff personally. And so I definitely going to link up with you in this off season, bro. We definitely going to link up, all right? I can promise you that. Niner Faithful 8080 with the hashtag BB. Brandy Williams in the building. Congratulations to your Pat Riots. Your Patriots, for those that didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Man, they going to the championship game. Ain't it nice? Must be nice. I could have swore we was headed there. You couldn't have told me that we wasn't headed there. I could have swore we were headed there 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, it is what it is. Oh, my sister Tanisha, she says, it was an embarrassing loss once again. We talked about this on the Overreaction show. Worse than last time. This was the worst loss of all season. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Now I have to deal with my guy who's a Rams fan. I was sick last night. Yo. I knew the Rams are gonna win, but God, when Caleb Williams pulled that fourth quarter back foot throw bomb to Cole Kmet in the end zone, he's wide open too. I was like, yeah! And then they go to overtime, and he throws an interception. I'm like, no! You can't do that on television, bro. The game is a wrap. It's all good, though. Miss Peachy Brown in the building. She's putting the links out there. So, guys, if you need easy access to the links, they're right here in the live comment section. All you gotta do is click on the joint. So, I just wanna just so you guys know, you know what I'm saying. Eddie G and the B Dogs, what's going on, bro? It's good to see you, my guy. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, everybody out there. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We got, my boy Ben is in the building. Yo, what's good, familia? Breezie, my brother. Peachy, all my faithful. What's going on, bro? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Nigel, gifted a membership. Give Nigel a round of applause, man. If you remember, because of my boy Nigel, make sure you show him some love. Nigel, one of the great moderators. Shout out to all the moderators out there. You got a wrench by your name? I love you. You help out tremendously. You do. You definitely do. All right, man. We got a super chat. Let's get to it. The man, let's see. Lyle, how do I say that? I'm trying to read it. Lyle Bolyard 8082. Super chat contribution. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Much love. Happy New Year to you. There's a thing going around in Buffalo. Okay. All right, let's talk about it. Because I want to have this conversation. I like this because Sean McDermott was fired earlier today, right? Shoot. Now, you could trade for coaches. So I you know what? Let me just read the daggone super chat because he's got my blood tingling. Would you trade a first round pick for Kyle Shanahan? And 80% said yes. My question for you is, would you trade Kyle for 2 first rounders or 3 firsts? Yeah. So we talking because how many first round picks does Buffalo have this year? 1. So now we talking future picks, right? It's funny because I was having this conversation earlier today, and I was like, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm looking to get out of. I would be looking to get out of San Francisco. I mean, because my quarterback's available. I got all the first of all, the two quarterbacks that Kyle described a few years back before he drafted Trey Lance are available. You guys don't know? Lamar Jackson is available and Josh Allen is available. They're both available. I know the Bills are looking to get a Super Bowl with Josh Allen, and I know the Ravens are looking to get another Super Bowl. A Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. They don't have. I don't think they have one with Lamar Jackson. I think Joe Flacco was the last one, right? So if I'm one of those organizations, because I'm gonna tell you right now, the Niners better not fire Kyle, because if they fire Kyle, this is dumb. That's why you try to trade him. So I would take two. I mean, if there's a team willing to give up three firsts, you know what I'm saying? That'd be awesome. You know what I'm saying? That'd be great. But yo, I take what I could get, even if it was a first round pick. I mean, there's tons of guys out there you could promote within. Maybe you could make Gus Bradley your head coach, or you can go get a head coach, or there's tons of guys available. You can go out there and get. People were talking about change. Now, I don't want Kyle fired. Let me just be honest. But I never said I didn't want Kyle traded. I'm trying to figure, like, I love Kyle Shanahan. And it's just unfortunate that every time he get in his bag, like something, like a piece goes missing. Like, you know, you look at the Seattle game where we just got plummeted, and it's just like, dang, like we get Ricky Pearsall back, but he's a non-factor. And now you got to look at it and be like, dang, is it because we didn't have George Kittle? Psh. So look, if there's a team willing to offer 3 firsts as a general manager, I mean, as a owner, you might have to take it. You know what I'm saying? 3 firsts, 2 firsts, 2 to 3 firsts, yeah. 1 first, nah. Because Kyle has been the best thing in the Bay since sliced bread. I mean, this guy has his team competing almost every single season, you know? And this had to be by far the best season. This is why I wouldn't move on from Kyle. He took a bandaged team. Now, we've seen Kyle with injury-plagued teams. Let's act like we don't know. Our team be injury-plagued every year, but we've seen it. And we didn't win. We were bad. We were 4 wins, 3 wins, whatever, right? This year, he went through the same stuff. But this time, we overcame that and finished the regular season 12-5 and won a wild card play. That's a special coach, man. It's hard to move on from a guy like that. Now, I understand the faithful. The faithful are the faithful, and they want a championship. So, Lyle, they want a chip. They want a chip, bro. It is like chip or nothing. Kyle Shanahan is now considered one of the longest. I think, is he the longest tenured coach? I don't know how many years Andy Reid's been in Kansas City, but Kyle's going into year 10. That's deep. That's deep. I got my fingers crossed because I don't think that they're going to fire Kyle. We ain't got to worry about that. But that was a great super chat, my bro. That was a great super chat because you talked about trading, and I forgot that you can trade for coaches. You just made my day. Niner faithful, Breezie, you see the little girl picking all the wrong teams to win the playoffs. Patriots, only one that broke her curse. She did? Wow. I mean, I picked this week. I was all right. I was 1 for 3. Niners lost. Oh no, I was 2 for 2. I was 2 for 2. Was I 2 for 2? I was 2 for 2. That's better than 1 for 3. Jesus Christmas. I thought I was 1 for 3. I thought I was 1 for 4, actually. I thought I was 25 or whatever it is. I thought I was 1 and 3. That's what I meant to say. I was 50%. Last week I was 100%. This week I was 50%. This week I'm going to be 100%. I'm going to go back to 100%. And then I'm going to pick the Super Bowl winner. But that sucks for the little girl, man. I hope she keeps at it, you know. It's a tough game. It's a tough business, man. You can't have your feelings and emotions involved when you're doing picks, because when you're right, they on you. When you're wrong, they on you in a different way. You know, so it's tough. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of questions out there. JP hella hard. Why Kyle put the defense on the field first again? Because you want the ball in the second half. So I think that is Kyle's MO, right? Like Kyle's MO is you want the ball in the second half. You know what I'm saying? And so you're able to make your adjustments at halftime. And if you're trailing or if you're up, you kind of have control, and you get an opportunity in the second half to come back out there and get, you know what I'm saying, try to get some points. So I think that's the reason why he did that. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. Stovey, welcome to the Breezy Bunch crew. He says Kyle's the dumbest coach ever. Hey, man, look, everybody is entitled to their opinions. And I know 49er fans under Kyle Shanahan, we have lost 2 Super Bowls. So I get it. It's tough. I mean, the bright side is that we lost to the same team twice in the Super Bowl. And I think it really just came down to the quarterback. I don't necessarily think we got out-coached. I just felt like the quarterbacks made plays and the defense couldn't stop the quarterback when they needed to stop the quarterback. And, you hope you end up with a quarterback like that. But I'm not going to go out and say that this loss wasn't embarrassing. It was terrible. I said this was the most pathetic loss that I've ever seen from the 49ers. This was a pathetic way to end the season. I'm not going to lie. And that's how I feel. It was bad. Like, I didn't think that the Niners showed up. Well, let me take that back. They showed up, but they definitely didn't show out. Definitely. They definitely didn't show out. Like, they look, the best thing the Niners had for them offensively was that they had tons of third down opportunities, and they went 50% on third down. Right? Best thing, because we said we got to be good on third down. Well, they were. They just couldn't get no damn points. Like, in a game where the Niners needed points, they couldn't get points. But look, you and I knew that this game was going to be terrible at the very beginning, right? We knew it was going to be bad. We knew it, right? Because it was a kick return. We ain't seen one of those in a minute. And the one game Brant Boyer's special teams needed to be 100% locked in, they weren't, And then I got people that were pissed off about the 49ers kicker, Eddie Pinheiro, for not tackling properly. What? So wait a minute. So let me think about this. So the Niners drafted kicker, his name was Jake Moody. He went to make a tackle. Kid ain't been right ever since. He gone. You lost your punter, right? Thomas Morstead. I just feel like in those positions he tried to do the super sweep kick, the super roundhouse down low kick from Street Fighter 2, and he missed. I wish he wouldn't have missed. I wish he would have connected, hit him, tripped him up, and we just took the penalty because it would have erased the points. Not mad at Eddie Pinheiro for not putting his body in the way, because God forbid had he got injured, we would have been pissed off. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take it with a grain of salt. You got to take it with a grain of salt. But I don't know. When it comes to the 49ers, I feel like the Niners mentality is different. I think every year we come in with a different mentality. I honestly don't know what the mentality was. For the past several years, it's been bully ball. This year, it was like pretty ball. I don't know what else to call it, because we just never, in every game we played this past year, even in the 12 victories, we never seemed to fully dominate. 1 week the defense would show up and show out. The next week the offense. We just never seemed to fully dominate and show our mentality. You remember the years we were the bullies? We were like the bad news Broad Street bullies. Like, y'all remember them seasons? I don't know what happened to the 49ers. Like, that whole identity was gone. We couldn't run the ball this year. Like, we couldn't run the ball this year. And I look, in this game, Jordan James looked like he had more speed, period. And he's first of all, Jordan James is a faster back than Christian McCaffrey, but he's younger, he's fresh, kid ain't playing no snaps. I'm not saying he's better than Christian McCaffrey, but maybe that first step, the burst, maybe the burst is there. Maybe the reason why we didn't run well is because the burst was there. Because I'll tell you right now, Brian Robinson Jr. didn't run well. What the we talking about? Like, because he was terrible too. I think the burst of speed was the difference. When we tried to move the ball, we did finish the game with over 108 rushing yards, if I'm not mistaken. But, just the Niners got to get back to that mentality. We were a drop back pass team this year like it was nothing. That's why there's so many sacks and this is that and the third. And it's tough to be a drop back team when your offensive line isn't built that way. Our offensive line is built to run the outside zone. Remember, we get guys with crazy 10-yard splits. Let's get to some of these comments. We got another super chat, man. Oh, man. Superman 2. Whenever I see Superman, I want to sing Superman Level by Redman. He says, I'm effing beyond happy. Me too. God dang it, me too. This team was held together by duct tape, prayers, and wet washes all year and gave us a great season. We were held by duct tape, super glue, Gorilla Glue, Crazy Glue, Elmer's Fudge Glue, and wood glue. Like just all the glue you could find. Rubber cement, duct tape, Gorilla tape, masking tape, all the tape, scotch. This team was held together. I'm upset at their performance, and I think I want to make that clear. I didn't really understand or like the performance, but man, the Niners were definitely the most resilient team in the NFL. And Superman 2, thank you so much for that super chat contribution. You couldn't have said it better. I'm happy too. I don't want people to think I'm not. And for those that aren't happy, that's fine. It's your prerogative. But I'm with Superman here, man. Every week, it was like another chapter, and we had to tune in to find out how it was gonna unfold. That's what the Niners were this year. My boy, Get 'em boy is doing. I'm hoping he's getting his 40. And I know we had a losing. I know we ended up losing. We didn't have a losing season, but we ended up losing players. But he's been putting out his comic book photos and stuff out there on Twitter. So if you guys are on Twitter, follow at Get 'em boy. And he's been putting his 49er comic stuff out. And I hope he puts it together because this was the first year where I felt like the Niners were literally telling a story, literally telling a story. So we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens moving forward. Tanisha says, we are now third in the NFC West. Seattle is going to be the team to beat in the NFC West. Kyle and the coaches have to figure out, let's talk about this because it's what we're here for. That was the score. I'm over the game. You should be over the game too. We'll do some grades or whatever. But I'm over the game. I'm moving forward. I'm looking on. We got some awards announcements to announce, and I'm good. But I like this. This is what I was kind of alluding to, I think, on the overreaction show. Right here, right? For years, you had teams trying to figure out how to one up on Kyle, right? And Kyle pretty much was at, a point. I mean, they went and got Jimmy G, took us to a Super Bowl, right? Round of applause, right? Then everybody, the worst trade probably in draft history when the Niners got Trey Lance. I think the 49ers, I understood the quarterback pick, trade up pick at that point. I understood it. I thought Trey Lance was going to be that athletic. He was the bigger quarterback. He had the body type. If a play broke down, you had to run the ball. He had the ability to do so. Wasn't a running quarterback, but had the ability to scramble if needed be. Just was raw, right? That didn't work out, but it also allowed us to sign players and extend players, because you reset the money at the quarterback position, right? So that's what the Trey Lance whole situation did. It didn't matter who that quarterback was. They probably were all going to suck. And then you look at maybe Trevor Lawrence probably would have been the most safest pick, but he went number one, right? Then they draft Brock Purdy. And you have Debo under contract. You got Brandon Ayuk now under contract. I know nobody wants to hear his name, but I'm just saying, without having to spend the money on the quarterback, they were able to sustain and keep certain players together for as long as they could. Now you're paying Brock, and things are going to be changing and things like that. And so now the Niners got to figure out, because all those years that they were doing that and they were competing, teams were rebuilding just to win the NFC West, just to one up on Kyle Shanahan. You look at Sean McVay. We got Jimmy Garoppolo. Sean McVay was like, all right, I'm just going to go get Matthew Stafford. It's like, damn. A guy that Kyle was coveting. Kyle wanted Matt. Kyle was going to try to get Matt. That would have changed the game. So Kyle be in his bag. Sometimes you snooze, you lose, or you don't offer the amount of money or whatever that you're supposed to offer. I don't know. But I think I'm with this. Like, we got to figure out how to counter a young two, not one, but, and you know what? Y'all not going to like this. Three young, ferocious defensive lines. Because we talking trash about the Cardinals, but don't sleep on their defense. They got studs. And when that defensive front is healthy, that defensive line, I think they might have the best secondary in the NFC West. The Arizona Cardinals, yep, I do. Offense, they still got to figure out. But guess where they started building? Their defense. So let's hope. That's what the Niners did That's what the Niners did in last year's draft. Go back to the draft picks. That's what we did. We got the defensive front. We took care of the defensive. We got an end. You got 2 tackles, right? You got a linebacker, right? And then you drafted Upton Stout, right? And Marquise Siegel. So you got 2 secondary pieces, right? They definitely addressed the defense. Now we got to see if these guys, which got plenty amount of ample playing time, we got to see if these guys develop. So I think the Niners got to counter these offenses. But if we focused on building our defense, how are we stopping the offense? And unfortunately, our first round draft pick, Michael Williams, was out for the season due to an ACL injury. So that right there is why we couldn't really help stop the run. We couldn't stop the run. We couldn't stop the run. Our biggest Achilles heel defensively, we could talk about the secondary here all day. We could not stop the run. Just could not stop it. Couldn't stop it. No matter what it was. We could not stop the run. You root for the Texans. Unfortunately, they're out. So it's the Patriots or the Broncos, Superman 2. It is what it is. It is what it is. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Niners look to address who they have to match up against twice every year, because that's the key. Win the division. I think everybody wants to win the division, and you win the division, you're good to go, And this year, the NFC West, by far the best division in football. By far. Best division in football. Hands down. By far. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully the Niners, another thing about the 49ers we get to look forward to, we're praying that we get health back on our side, especially on the defensive side. And it just hit me that George Kittle will be on the IR at the beginning of this season. Oh, man. So the Niners got to get better offensively, because they still don't have wide receivers, you know what I'm saying, in my opinion, that can get the job done. All right, Don't Bother Me says, we need dogs in the trenches, physical dogs. Yeah, we need dogs that are bite, not bark, but bite. Dogs do 2 things, right? They bark first to kind of scare the people off, and most people be scared of the bark. But when you find out that dog is all bark with no bite, I feel like the Niners were all bark. I like Alfred Collins, CJ West. I think they're the future. They should be starting next year. I don't care who the defensive coordinator is. Them 2 guys better be my D1, my D2, period. End of discussion. They should not be rotating next year. Jordan Elliott's a free agent. He could kick rocks. Khalil Davis, I may try to bring back. I like Khalil Davis. I need more from Khalil Davis, but I'm with you. We need dogs that are bite like that are ready to get vicious. And that, Tanisha, if you go and look at Arizona, Seattle, and LA, look at them defensive fronts. Them dudes is coming out to bite. All of them. All of them. So I wouldn't be mad if the Niners didn't get another defensive tackle in this draft. But I think they got to go edge, speedy edge, like Bryce Huff, but he's a rotational. Bryce Huff is not even rotational. It just hit me. Bryce Huff is situational. There's a difference between rotational and situational. There's a difference. Bryce Huff on situations, he's a killer. Bryce Huff rotation, he's still good. Bryce Huff as a starter, nah. They need to go get that 230 pound, 40 pound guy that could just get to the quarterback. That's what they got to do. You got a guy that sets the edge. You got Nick Bosa. Now go get me a speed rusher so I can run some other types of packages, because that's what we need. You know what I mean? In my opinion, that's what the Niners need. Bring Keion White back. Yeah, because I think a full year with Keion White, which I believe he has another year left on his contract. Him, Demarcus Robinson on the offensive side. I think, what's her quarterback name? Mac Jones. Those are all 2-year deals, right? All three of those guys. I think Keion White had an extra year on his contract when we traded for him, but Robinson as a free agent and Mac Jones signed 2-year deals. So I think all those guys will be back unless they try to trade. You know what I'm saying? You know. I don't think he signed for 2 years. I think when we traded for him, he still had another year left. So it was this year, and then next, he still has another year left on his contract. We didn't sign him. We traded for him. But Brian Robinson Jr., I believe, is a free agent. We got tons of free agents. We'll talk about free agents on another show, but we got tons of guys that are going to be moving on. I can tell you right now, the number one free agent that we got to re-sign is I was about to say Robbie Gould, but it's Eddie Pinheiro, because he's been the best thing since Robbie Gould. He's been the best thing since Robbie Gould. Darren Bolton, says we do need to get rid of the Y9, Breezy. Enough is enough. It doesn't work. We need something new. Yeah. So the Y9, Kylie, what's going on, bro? The Y9 is an alignment so that it's based off of spacing. And you need speed. I think the reason why the Y9 doesn't work isn't necessarily up front. It's because the linebackers, right? I think if we had Fred Warner all season, we would have saw more from the Y9, more how it's supposed to be ran. And D Winters probably would have been a little bit better if Fred Warner was out there. I'm not going to lie. I don't want D Winters to go, but I definitely didn't see what I thought I was going to get from D Winters this year, but I don't know how much of that was because of not having Fred Warner out there, you know. But the Y9 is based off of the linebackers and their speed and their ability to get from sideline to sideline, fill these gaps, things like that. You know what I'm saying? And make the tackles, right? And make the tackles. So I don't know if they're gonna move on from that. That's a scheme. Excuse me. That's an alignment that Robert Saleh, because that's an alignment Robert Saleh covets, right? And then the scheme is covered too, right? So like he's gonna keep them two safeties at the top of the football field. See, I'm cover two is cool. But teams, if you don't disguise it properly, like or use it properly, then teams gonna run on you on the cover two, because you got two safeties at the top of the football field. But Robert Saleh is like, bend don't break, so you're not gonna get beat deep. When you got the right safeties out there, cover two works. When you got speed at safety, cover two works. When you don't have the right pieces out there, cover two is a liability. So. You got to bring the extra safety up in the box every now and then. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And if you look at Seattle runs a lot of the same schemes the 49ers do. I mean, they play quarters coverage all damn game, and they had those cover two. They had their safeties back. They were in like cover 2 quarters or cover 4 quarters, and they were out there. They were back playing. They wasn't though. The Niners in that game had 0 explosive plays. We didn't even have an explosive run. Their defensive front was so great that the longest rush, I believe, was 7 or 8 yards. Like, we didn't even have a run over 10 yards. And we didn't have a pass over 19 yards in this game. That's how stingy they were playing. Like, I think that's what Robert Saleh wants to do. Like, that's what he's really trying to do. But the players don't execute it to a T. That's the difference. And Seattle secondary's been together for a while, and the Nick Emmanwori acquisition, the draft selection was key to a McDonald's defense, right? That was key. Like, it starts with the safety, but you need a safety because they play a lot of big nickel. You need a safety that is, that guy. Which I would like to see Malik Mustafa play more of the big nickel. I feel like all right, hear me out. You got Marquise Siegel, Malik Mustafa, right? I think Jair Brown is cooked, right? Jason Pinnock, I think it was a 1-year deal. You don't bring him back. He was terrible anyway. And then I think this year you got to draft a safety. And I mean ball hawk safety. The kid from Indiana is ringing the bell. I think that's what you do, right? You get the safety. Because now, if you get that versatile safety, that athletic, versatile speed, ball hawk, it changes. It's a wild card. You want to know what makes the Ravens defense so great? It's Kyle Hamilton. Everybody else can be great because you got a Kyle Hamilton. He could play in the slot. He could play safety. He could move around. The Niners don't have those options. The last time the Niners had a piece like that, it was Jimmy Ward. And he was older. We were mad. Like, we didn't bring him back, because they forced him to play nickel. I just feel like if the Niners want to be better on defense, they need a piece like that. Get a piece like that, man. That's why I wanted Nick Emmanwori. This year, I'm going to be definitely doing my research on these safeties. You know what I'm saying? Because even if we would have got the ball hawk kid from Notre Dame last year, I think, did he go to Atlanta? I can't think of his name off the top of my head. You got to get a ball hawk. The Niners were last in turnovers, man. They weren't good. They weren't good. And you don't want to rely on your freaking, you don't want to rely on your middle linebacker and Fred Warner. You want to take some stress off of the young fella, right? He's got to play safety, linebacker. Like, yeah, it's great he can cover, but you're overworking Fred. Nobody talks about how much Fred gets overworked. Fred got overworked like Christian McCaffrey got overworked. Dude's doing it off. Then you want him to be in on every tackle and hit. No, get a safety. Get a safety. Get a safety, I think, and try to play. Get better up front. Get you one of them safeties that's going to make the quarterback not want to throw the ball down the middle, down the football field. That's going to make the quarterback hold the ball longer. Now your defensive line can kind of tee off. Luke Farrell will be back here too because he signed a 2-year deal too. So it's a lot that the Niners got to do, and it starts in free agency. It doesn't even start in the draft. We're going to talk about free agents, and the next time we do a show, maybe we'll do a free agent show, but it's a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot. Just some news and some updates. We'll get to some news and some updates as well. I'll get to some more of your questions out there. If you guys got questions out there, man, especially if you're members of the Breezy Bunch crew, put it in the chat. I'll make sure I highlight those questions. We'll get to some 49ers news and updates. That's what we do. 49ers defensive end Mikael Williams, who suffered an ACL injury, said he would be ready around training camp. So you're going to get your first round pick back, and boy, oh boy, the Niners setting the edge would be key. Setting the edge is key for the San Francisco 49ers. Also, we want to send out some congratulations to some players and their accolades out there. Christian McCaffrey was named to the first team All NFL and All NFC by the Pro Football Writers of America per Matt Mayoko. This is McCaffrey's third selection. He was selected in 2019, 2023, and now in 2025. Also, left tackle Trent Williams was named to the All NFC team by the Pro Football Writers of America per Matt Mayoko. And last but not least, 49ers linebacker Luke Gifford was named to the All NFC team for special teams by the Pro Football Writers of America per Matt Mayoko. So round of applause to all of those selections. Luke Gifford was brought in to play special teams, had to play linebacker a lot due to injury, and he was terrible at the linebacker spot. I mean, special teams is where we need. Yep. And then we got the awards for the 49ers. You got the Len Eschman Award went to running back Christian McCaffrey. The Bill Walsh Award went to running back Christian McCaffrey. The Bob McKittrick Award went to offensive lineman Colton McKivitz. The Hazeltine Ironman Award went to D. Winters. The Tom Harrion Memorial Award went to defensive lineman Alfred Collins, rookie getting that award. The Perry Yanamin United Award went to offensive lineman Colton McKivitz and linebacker Curtis Robinson. The Gary Niver Award went to quarterbacks Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. So round of applause to all the 49ers that earned those team awards. Team awards. So dope, man. So dope. So, I guess the thing is now, what are the Niners going to do moving forward? And I think the first thing we got to sit back and wait. And the Niners won't be doing anything as far as moves until we figure out what's going on with the coaches. So you got Robert Saleh, who's interviewing. You got, I think he's interviewing with the Titans. I think he's interviewing with several other teams as well. The Ravens, I believe I saw that was one of the teams. Offensive coordinator Clay Kubiak is being interviewed. He had his interview with the Las Vegas Raiders for a position over there. And that's crazy. Like, really, Clay, head coaching job, Clay. Wow. That's crazy. So Clay Kubiak may be the head coach of the Raiders, depending on how his interview goes. And that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen, because the Niners, got to figure out that part first. If Robert Saleh is gone, okay, the Niners won't get that comp pick, obviously. But if, for next year. But if Robert Saleh is gone, who do you guys want to see as the defensive coordinator for this team? Do you think they go in-house? And when I say in-house, I know Gus Bradley was brought here for a reason. Are we going Gus, or are we going to go outside like a Raheem Morris? Isn't that a Kyle Shanahan guy, if I'm not mistaken? So it's going to be interesting to see if Robert Saleh goes, you know what I'm saying? All right, let's get to some of these comments and stuff like that. Oh, there was a question right there. Triple.31. Do you think they bring in Raheem Morris? That's so funny. I personally think they should. That's me personally. I'm interested to see if I feel like Gus Bradley's going to get the offer. I do. JM_617. Why aren't the 49ers interviewing for DC? Saleh's looking around. We can too, of just sitting on their ass. I think they're doing it strategically. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Niners got to keep quiet who they're interested in. So I'm just going to fall back and let it rock. You know what I mean? That's just me personally. Don't bother me, Wayne. We know the entire NFL looks to, yeah, they do. Every year, win or lose season, every year Kyle losing coaches. Oh, a lot of people want Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz is the defensive coordinator for who again, y'all? Is it the Cleveland Browns? Is it the Lions? I can't remember what team he with. That's why I'm asking, That's why I'm asking. I have zero personal feelings in what the Niners are gonna do. Trying to figure out where Schwartz is. You know what I'm saying? The Browns, right? Does so I know the Browns, but I know the Browns are not great. They got a really good defense. Does he want to leave Myles Garrett and come to San Francisco to coach a Nick Bosa and a young crew, or does he stay with the second? Because I think the Browns defense is better than the 49ers defense. I just do. Uh, so I don't know. I don't know if Schwartz is willing to do that. You know, but we all know Gus Bradley. I don't want Gus Bradley to be the coach. I just feel like that's the route we going. It's kind of funny, and that could be, to answer your questions out there. That could be a reason why we haven't interviewed anybody. You know what I'm saying? Could be. Super chat contribution from my boy Tommy. Hired Radio Raheem. Saleh is gonna fail as head coach. Listen, if I'm Robert Saleh, then I'm not staying in San Francisco. There's only two jobs I want. I'm not going to Tennessee. I got a rookie quarterback, even though he didn't draft that rookie quarterback. And you look at Tennessee, their defense is all right. I just don't know if that's the move I would want to make. I look at the Ravens saying I got an MVP caliber quarterback. I look at the Buffalo Bills saying I got an MVP caliber quarterback. Buffalo is a defense that can be built on some Robert Saleh. He's got a defensive front. They were missing some key pieces like Ed Oliver and those guys. Buffalo could be a spot now that Sean McDermott is out, and they already promoted their general manager, I believe, in-house. And then the Ravens' defense is ridiculous, right? Like, ridiculous. Listen, and he's got the offense there, too. And preferably, I want Saleh out of the NFC. Even, so Titans, Ravens, whatever. But, again, maybe he just doesn't leave, Maybe he doesn't leave. Maybe he doesn't leave. Let me see. Get some more questions on the show. What players are you excited to see year 2 leap and play? Whew. This is a tough question, bro, because usually year 2 is the sophomore slump. It's usually the sophomore slump. I'm excited to see Robert. I'm excited to see Upton Stout. I'm excited to see how he transcends even more. Like, I felt like he's only been getting better and better and better. But if I had to pick a player that I really want to see play, I want to see Nick Martin. I want to see why they drafted him with the 3rd round pick. I know he's a thumper. I want to see if he's going to be able to do that. I want to see if he'll be able to transition as a smaller linebacker in the NFL. I just want to see it because I really didn't like what I saw from D. Winters, but D. Winters is going to get another shot. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get another shot. David Brown, it's probably my cousin. Breezy, I think our problem is our coaches fail to make a change. I would have said this if this was, I would agree with this if this was last year, but Kyle Shanahan made it his business to get better coaching in here, and them coaches coached a beat up, bruised, battered team to the playoffs and won a playoff game. I don't know if they failed to make changes. I think they tried to make changes. I just don't think the changes were executed properly. We saw Kyle make changes. We saw Kyle try trick plays. We saw Saleh make changes. We saw guys blow coverage. I mean, think about it. Like, all right, going in this game. Let's talk about this game, right? Renardo Green gives up a 2nd and 20 explosive play because his eyes are in the backfield looking at the running back, but D. Winters is already there. Like, what are you doing, right? So he's playing the flat instead of playing the depth. Next thing you know, Cooper Kupp's getting a 21-yard gain on a 2nd and 20 after Malik Mustafa just got a sack on a blitz, right? And so he gets chewed out on the sideline. Unfortunately, you put his, Darrell Luter Jr. in the game, and then you give up a touchdown. It's some little things, man, that make these coaches like, bro, what was I supposed to do? I had to put the next man up, and the next man up failed because Renardo Green was being silly. So I think they made the changes. I just don't think the changes get executed, and it looks like they don't make any changes. That's my take on it. I could be wrong, but they got to do something. They got to do something. They got to do some. They got to get. You know what the Niners need to do from coaches, and we need some stable coaches, right? Like especially your coordinators, right? You need them to be. We need some stability, you know. And here's something that just hit me. And let me know if you guys agree with this. Let me know. I wonder if Kyle Shanahan always or doesn't use an offensive coordinator for this reason only. He doesn't want to confuse his quarterbacks. Think about it. Every time, when you got a quarterback in here, new school, need to learn more. You get a new coordinator, they got to learn a new system. They got to learn this, they got to learn that. With Kyle Shanahan, the system doesn't change. The playbook doesn't change. So it's easier for the quarterback to make the transition. Now you can hire a guy as an offensive coordinator like a Clay Kubiak or a Mike McDaniel. You could bring him back, but they're also going to have other roles and other jobs. So I wonder if, within the system. So I wonder if that's the reason why we don't really get that full-fledged offensive coordinator. Because when an offensive coordinator comes in, they usually come in with their philosophies. I think the reason why for Kyle Shanahan, he doesn't do that is because he doesn't want the philosophy to change offensively because the playbook is what it is. I'm just a thought, just a process. I don't know if it's true. Just something that I'm thinking about. I don't know if that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? It could be, could not be. It is what it is. Let's talk about. Got some more super chat contributions. Mark, what's going on, fam? He says we could talk draft talk, but Kyle Shanahan won't play the youngins. I think part of the reason, and I could be wrong again, the reason why Kyle Shanahan don't play the youngins is because he still got the veterans. Here's the thing, right? I think as these veterans start to weave themselves out, you're not going to have a George Kittle. You're going to have to figure that out. I mean, there's a tight end that we should have probably drafted that's going to be available in free agency named Kyle Pitts. You want to add a weapon? Now, I know Kyle Pitts didn't take the league by storm in Atlanta. This ain't Atlanta. This is Kyle Shanahan. That would be that's the Jordan Reed tight end. That's the hybrid big 6'5", I think that's what he is. Big body, line him up in the sun. Can you imagine what he would do in Kyle Shanahan's offense? A Kyle Pitts. Now the question is, how much is Kyle Pitts going to cost? So that's where it comes down to. But to go back to what you were saying, he won't play the youngest. This is true. This is 100% true. I think the reason why he doesn't play these guys is because he doesn't have to. He still has these veterans that he feels will run his system better. Sometimes, my word to Kyle, and I think I could speak for the faithful, my word be like, bruh, it ain't working. Play these young cats, right? Play them. Because they probably got a burst, speed. They looking to get gritty. They looking to make a name for themselves. They're gonna go all out. Sometimes you just gotta play the youngins. I see this a lot in basketball. You ever watch basketball and your team, your starting five sucks, and they gave up like a 40-point lead, and then the coach hopefully be like, you know what, man, F this ain't working out. Like quarter 3, you just put in the young guys that just want to come out there, hustle and play basketball. They're going to rebound. They're going to out hustle. They're going to do that type of stuff. Football's different. I'm just saying when you change up the players a little bit, you know what I'm saying? You get a different vibe, different energy. And sometimes basketball teams, them runs, they make these little comebacks. Football can almost be the same. I like the burst that I saw from Jordan James, but we knew we were going to get that. We knew that's what he was going to bring to the table. I talked about it. I covered it all offseason in the draft talk. Jordan James burst, right? He's fresh. He was fresh. Imagine Jordan James week 17, though. He probably wouldn't look as fresh, but he gets to the hole quicker than Christian McCaffrey. And that's what it looked like. Or the defense just played differently because it wasn't Christian McCaffrey. It's so many different ways or angles you can look at the stuff. Like you said, thank you for the super chat. Your statement was correct. He won't play him, but I think the reason why is because he don't trust him, and he doesn't have to. He still has these vets that he trusts, that he feels like are higher up on the depth chart, and this is that and the third. You know Kyle Shanahan. You know how he is. But I said that to say, God forbid, we move on from a lot of these vets. You're going to have to play the youngest. If the Niners don't bring back Juwan Jennings, guess what? It's Jordan Watkins' time. It's a faster, bigger version. Same, I think they're the same height, but he's faster. The players we draft are never for the now. They're always for the future, unless there's an injury and they have to play now. That's the Kyle Shanahan system, man. It's how it was in Denver when his pops coached. That's how Kyle Shanahan coaches. Matthew, what up, baby? O-line, defense, and a few wide receivers. Number one are a must. How about we just get a number one wide receiver? How about that? How about O-line, defense, and just a number one wide receiver? And I'm for drafting a wideout that can be a number one. We are at pick, 26, 25, 26, 27? That's where we're going to be drafting. Get me depending on who's available, I wouldn't be mad if the Niners drafted a wide receiver number one, especially if it's one of the top 10 wide receivers that's out there. Because teams aren't all going to be drafting wide receivers. You got to figure out where there's going to be a run. You might find a top 10 defensive end at 25, 26, 27. The draft is going to be crazy. So I can't wait to see how this pan out. As far as offensive line, the Niners aren't going to get one of the top 5 offensive linemen. Those guys go quick, especially if they're tackles. So the Niners are going to have to really do their homework. I wouldn't be mad if they moved on from Chris Forrester. I think he's just dated. That's just my opinion. Cinnamon Kiss with the super chat contribution. Hey, Wayne, what are your thoughts on Gus Bradley? I feel like he about to be the defensive coordinator. I feel like he about to be the DC. I just feel like he gonna be the DC. That's why you don't hear them freaking going, interviewing guys and whatever. So my thoughts on him is he runs the same system. That's where Robert Saleh comes out of. When he went to Seattle, he ran it there. He's running it here in San Francisco. So the good news is, you're not changing the system. You just got to you got to get the right players to fit. If the system is the system, if it's wide 9, cover 2, man, they want to play a lot of man, cover 2 men. We go play zone because of the way the defensive line was built. If Robert Saleh was able to rush 4 more, it would have been a lot more man coverage this year. But unfortunately, we lost every freaking starting defensive lineman we had. So I think Gus, for the player's perspective and who we drafted, I think you go with Gus because he understands and knows the system. So I think Gus Bradley will end up being the guy if Robert Saleh leaves. If Robert Saleh leaves, that's just my thought. So I feel that, it is what it is. I see a question out there. You says, I would not bring Mike McDaniel back. He's disloyal. Interesting. I forgot how he was disloyal, so I don't remember that. So you got to tell me. You got to refresh my memory about him being disloyal. Silent! What up, baby? He said, did the Seahawks do enough to change Shanahan? You can't out-scheme such a large talent gap. Will he finally go for the athletic freaks over scheme fit? This is a great question, right? Now we talking, because I said that Kyle's got to get better players. F the scheme. Get some players that don't fit the scheme but just are tremendous in talent. And number one, have a good freaking health record. I think that is key. I like the speed that we're going to get from Jordan Watkins. We still haven't seen what Jacob Conway could do in this offense. There's so much to see that we still have here. But when you're looking for these new players, you got to get freaks, man. And you know what? They tried. They tried to get a guy like, what was the kid? The guy, yes, Drake Jackson. They tried to go for a freak like that, but he wasn't good at USC. Get a guy that's produced, I was pissed last year they didn't go after a guy like Mike Green or a James Pierce. These dudes had over 20 sacks. They had double-digit sacks in their rookie seasons. They produce. You got to go get guys that produce. And get them to fit the scheme or adjust the scheme, tweak the scheme, Good coaches to me, can do that. And I think Kyle can do that. He's done it before. Everybody doesn't fit this scheme offensively and defensively. Kyle does make players better, but he does like the scheme. Man, give me a motherfucking wide receiver that people's got a bracket. Give me a wide receiver. And you had it with Brandon Ayuk, but unfortunately that just didn't work out. So, these other coaches, man, they picking guys that are just athletic freaks, man. Good luck. Sometimes that's how it be. Sometimes that's how it be. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's just how it be. GSU for life. I don't know what you don't like. I said something, you don't like it. Whatever. It's cool. We never agree anyway. Media, what's going on? Renardo Green is young. That's why Kyle is a player. He plays Renardo Green. Renardo Green is a starting wide receiver. Starting defensive back. Starting quarterback. He plays him. He had to take him out for that. You know what I mean? He had to take him out for that. Only $50 million in cap space, so free agents will have to be reasonably priced considering the needs. Yep, $50 million. We got to see what they're going to be doing with the Brandon Ayuk money, how that frees up anything. You know what I'm saying? Matt says it's not working. I get it. A lot of stuff not working. It's hard to assess this season because of health. Like, it's really hard. We had no Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner, and we lost George Kittle in the worst opportune time, And you're talking about a game where, you're talking about a season where your starting quarterback missed 8 games. Your backup quarterback had to come in and service the team and help the team stay up and afloat. You had your number one wideout, not named Brandon Ayuk, missed 9 games. I forgot how many games Ricky Pearsall missed, but it was a ton, right? Like, it's hard to really assess this season when you're literally playing with backups. And I'm not using that as an excuse, but come on, man. We looking at these teams. They got their starters out there. I know Zach Charbonnet is going to be out for the season. He got injured towards ACL, I believe. He's done. He won't be playing in the playoffs for the Seattle Seahawks, but they got all the way to the playoff game. Like, it's just crazy, like, how the Niners' injuries really, in my opinion, like, just effed them up. Like, really effed them up. You know what I'm saying? Really effed them up. You look at CMC. Joe Mama says the vets are breaking down. Like, you're waiting for, like, 38-year-old Trent Williams to break down. You're waiting. Like, it's going to happen. Like, Father Time is undefeated. Like, it just seems like Nick Bosa, all of a sudden, it's something is catching up with him. No matter how healthy he eats, no matter how hard he trains, no matter what, man, these injuries are injuries. And George Kittle breaking down. He's 32, 33. He's older. These guys are breaking down, right? And so it's just like, you got to replenish. If you're going to, and you look at those guys, here's the issue. When a George Kittle, Trent Williams, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, let's just take those 4 guys, and let's put Christian McCaffrey in there. When those 5 guys go down, you ain't got their replacements. You got players that got to step up, but you're not going to replace the all-pro. Them all-pros. You're not going to be able to replace that, but you'll get a quick glimpse of what you may have to come, and we didn't see enough for Jordan James. I know a lot of people were down on Isaac Guerrero. Look, I think Isaac Guerrero lost his spot because the Niners traded for Brian Robinson Jr. That's what it was. I'll leave it at that. They went and they saw a running back that they could get in here that could pass protect. So who's going to be running back 2 this upcoming season? It's going to be between Jordan James, Brian Robinson Jr., and maybe whoever the freak they draft, or undraft. The Niners are doing stuff. Bobby Turner would be in his bag. But Brian Robinson Jr., I believe, is done, if I'm not mistaken. This is what you didn't agree with. Okay, yeah. Look, that's how 31 coaches in the NFL think. We just know that's not how Kyle Shanahan thinks. You get what I'm saying? And you got to go out there and you got to make plays. You got to prove it in practice. Unfortunately, the way the Niners are built is you got to do something in practice that's going to make you stand out. If the starter is out there still holding it down, when you get your rep, you really got to make the coaches be like, who was that? What was that? How you do that? So that's what it comes down to. Not that I agree with that. That's just how our coaches, that's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? in my opinion. I got another super chat contribution from my boy Mark. What's going on, fam? He says, this season truly marks an end of an era. Oh, I see where you go. Yeah. Yep. Kittle, Bosa, CMC, BA, etc. We either make changes now or get completely gapped. All right, so you feel like if we don't make the necessary changes now, in the long run, it's a wrap. And I feel like this is what they were doing, right? They went younger. So the changes have been made, right? You're holding on to these pillars for as long as you can. You're getting as much out of the orange or the lemon, much juice as you can. You know, you're holding on to them. I could see them extending Trent Williams for another 2 or 3 years. Just to hold on to him until you really develop that guy, or find that guy that's a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with CMC. You're not going to replace CMC. His ability to catch out of the backfield, that stuff like that. You're not going to find that unless you are scoping and looking for that, and you're going to spend the draft capital on that. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? You look at the Bijan Robinsons, the Jahmyr Gibbs, those first round picks. CMC was a first round pick. Unless you draft a running back kind of like in that first round that got that kind of grade on him, whether you could fall in round 2 or whatever or whatnot, you're not going to find a CMC. So it's going to take a minute. You got to kind of take what you can get. As far as Bosa, again, you're looking at first grade, first round talent to do what Bosa does. Kittle, you got him in the 5th round. But let's be honest, man. Kittle came in here a little scrawny. I guarantee you, if Kittle was built like Trey McBride or whatever, he would have probably been a first rounder. But again, how do you replace George Kittle? You're looking for a blocking tight end that can catch, and be great at both and want to have the will to do both. It's tough, man, but those guys are breaking down, man. It's just age, man. Age is happening. The Niners window is closing. Media says we're pick 27. Stovey says we need to trade for Justin Jefferson. My boy Mose hit me up the other day and said the same thing. And I just don't know if I'm willing to spend that draft capital on a wide receiver. Is that what you want? I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I'm willing to do that. Even though he's that number one wideout, he's that number one wideout. I feel like the Niners can trade for 2 wide. If they're gonna trade for a wide receiver, it's got to be 2 guys. It's got to be AJ Brown, or it's got to be mother freaking Justin Jefferson. Them the two dudes. If you're going to trade, boom, 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 boom. That's what you got to do. Those are your number one wideouts. They're going to command double teams. They're going to command all the attention. And I would lean to go toward Justin Jefferson. I don't know how rich that contract is off the top of my head, but at the end of the day, that's what Kyle needs. I go back to Atlanta, man. He had that. That made that offense that much more dynamic. Not just because of what Julio Jones did, but he had Roddy White. Like you get what I'm saying? Like he had the one and a perfect complementary number 1, right? Or if you wanted to call him a 2. That to me, that Atlanta Falcons, and I'm not comparing Julio Jones to Jerry Rice. No, not. But what I'm saying is that was kind of what Kyle had. He had his Jerry Rice and John Taylor. Kyle thought he had that with Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, but Deebo was never really truly that wide receiver that John Taylor was. So no, he didn't have that. He just had a weapon. Then he traded for Christian McCaffrey, and you no longer needed Deebo in that way. And now you're trying to get him and push him to be this number 2, number 1 wide receiver, whatever you're trying to do. It wasn't his skill set. His skill set was get the ball in his hand quick and let him be a bully. Kyle's got to find his number 1 and number 2. I don't know if we have those guys. But, man, if we traded for Justin Jefferson or an A.J. Brown, Ricky Pearsall would be the best number 2 wide receiver in the NFL. God dang. Hands down. That right there is what Kyle Shanahan needs to probably try to figure out. Who the heck is going to be my number 1 so the other guy can eat? You know what I'm saying? I don't think that they do that because of the draft capital, though, guys. But I do think they're going to look for a wide receiver in this. I think they're going to look for a wide receiver And so I see media. This is the guy. This is the free agent I want to go get. If you're gonna sign a free agent wide receiver, I would take Alec Pierce over Jawan Jennings. And here's why. I love Jawan Jennings, but Alec Pierce is the one. He's the guy that get down the football field. He can stretch the football field. He has a high contested catch radius. His jump ball game is great. His hands are great. He beats coverages. He beats double coverages. That's the guy. He has the speed. But he's gonna cost you about $20 million a year. Are y'all comfortable paying a wide receiver $20 million a year again? I don't know. Especially if you feel like you could find him in the draft. He's gonna be expensive, Niner faithful. I'm with you. Cinnamon says she heard that the Niners are trying to trade Ricky Pearsall. Really? Hey man, do it. Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. I like Ricky Pearsall. I didn't think that should have been the first round pick for the Niners during that time. But, I mean, how much of Rick do we like, really? Because when he's there, he's dynamic. When he's not there, he's hurting the team. He's just on a rookie contract. So I don't know what you're going to get for him. You know what I mean? So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. But, look, the Niners, as far as windows and all that type of stuff, man, look, the Niners will always have a way to keep their window open. It's going to come down to some money management, moving around stuff, contracts, negotiations, all that type of stuff. But you know what? It starts next week in Mobile, which is where I will be. All right. It starts in Mobile, which is where I will be. And I'm going to be looking at this talent, man. And if you guys want to email me some people that you feel like is going to be at the Senior Bowl, you want me to check out, let me know. I'll try to get interviews with just as many people as I can. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. But did Pearsall play against Seattle? He did. He had 2 targets, 0 catches. He had the 1 drop. Remember the drop he had? The diving catch, the drop? I know we all remember that. I remember that. Let's see how many drops we had in that game. We might not have had any drops now that I think about it, but I could have swore that was a drop. I think Jawan Jennings had a drop too. Yep, 1 drop, and the drop, they called that a tough catch, so it wasn't a drop on Pearsall, but it looked like a drop. Jawan Jennings did have the drop. Yeah, so, he played, Last thing on the plant, move the plant or move back to the stick. I need the Niners to get back to I need to get back to San Francisco. I'm sorry. I don't want to go to Santa Clara anymore. Ain't nothing in Santa Clara. Santa Clara is dull, boring. It's nothing there. San Francisco is the heart. It's the name of the team. If they could find a way to move back, that would be excellent. But it's not going to happen. I don't know about this plant or whatever, this power plant, this energy plant or whatever. It's a thing. And people are talking about it, and I guarantee it's going to be a huge story. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I know a lot of people want Kyle Shanahan gone, but I don't think he's going anywhere. He'll be entering year 10 as the 49ers coach. John Lynch will be entering year 10 as the 49ers general manager. And look, we got to sit back and just wait to get some of these guys back, guys, and see what happens going into next season. Schedule looks like it's going to be in our favor again. We're not playing all these tough opponents again, so we'll see what happens, but it's going to be fun. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely going to be fun. We can't go back to, I don't believe in the plant stuff, but it's a thing. You got players talking about it. It is what it is. Matt says, no Breezy. It's the Bartolo the NFL has it out for. We could still be paying for that. That's a thing. I know people don't believe it, but that's a thing. That's a thing. The whole Eddie D thing, that's a thing. It's a thing, and I'll leave it at that. Guys, it's been real. Thank you to all the members of the Faithful for tuning in. Shout out to all my subscribers, all my Breezy Bunch crew members. I love you. Get the air horns one time. Thank y'all so much for the super chats. You have no idea how much they help continue to bring you guys great content. Love you guys. And I'll be back this week, all right? So stick around. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And always, always keep it faithful to the best. What's up, Faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.